I can show you how to do the real data. Yeah, I'm recording this. I may have done this earlier, but that's all right. What you need to go to get your real data for your statistics assignment. And here's the form. And this, okay, and this needs just a little bit of explanation. This is the table that when you submit your assignment will be filled out. And what I did is I put the ends in here. And the reason I put the ends in there is so that you can know if you're doing this right. In other words, if the ends don't match, you're not doing it right. If the ends match, then we're fine. So we can do the example assignment, but I'll do the real assignment for the example student, which will be, the data will be different than yours. The first thing we need to do is we need to get the data. And to get the data, I'm going to go to the data files. And I'm going to go to medical errors. And this is the reporting form that we can see. So and I put these little, you can look at, you could just, tab through this and look at the data and enter it for each subject, but that would take forever. So what I did is I gave you the data in a format. I have to go over here. It's something blocking my view. Okay, so the first thing we want to do for the medical errors is just to capture the text file down here. And we want to make sure we get all of it. Sometimes students don't get all of it, and that causes problems. I'm just going to copy it. And then I'm going to go open up Notepad and just paste it into Notepad. So this is all my data. And normally I'm going to copy it into Excel. I could go into Excel, but I'm just going to just save this. And I'll just save it on my desktop and call it temp. That way I know I can get rid of it. Desktop, okay. Now I can save it. So I've saved it on my desktop. I'm now going to open up SPSS. If you have a lot of trouble doing this, I mean, if you spend hours doing this and it just isn't working for you, what I want you to do is I want you to send me what you have. Then I'll take a look at it. And I can usually fix it pretty easily. So I've opened up an SPSS, just a blank data file. Now I'm going to go File. I'm going to read text data. And I'm going to look in my desktop and look at temp and open that. Okay. No, it's delimited. No, they're not at the top. Each line represents a case. We want all the cases. But we're not going to do spaces. We're just going to do commas. So we delimited our variables by commas. And we'll just say next. Okay, so this is what our data look like. The problem with this is we look at variable view, we haven't documented our variables. Now we could go in and do this thing, document these variables one at a time. That would work. But what I'm going to do, data, example, student medical errors, that'll work. Okay, so all I did is what I would have you do is download the example data file, the example medical data file, because this is the one that the one I would have you, if you're going to practice this, I would have you do this assignment first using the example data and then use your own data. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy. I'm just going to highlight the variable names. I'm going to copy them. Then I'm going to go back to SPSS and my untitled data set. And this is, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm switching back and forth between the two data sets. And this is the new data set that I just read in. And I'm just going to paste. So here are my variable names. I'm going to do the same thing for, let's get back here. I'll switch back now to, this is the example data set that I loaded in. I'm going to just copy the type, and I'm just going to switch back and forth, back to the data file that I just created, paste, and I'll go back. I'll just do this for everything. Width, just to make things nice. And values, do the same thing for values. All right, so now I've got my data file, and we can look at the data view. It doesn't look like the date worked very well. We don't use the dates anyway. So if you want to not do the dates, there are ways to if you get the right answers and it works for you, I'm happy. But we don't use the dates. Originally, when I created this assignment, I was going to have students look at the dates. There's some really neat things you can do with dates in SPSS. You can look at elapsed time from a given date. You can look at the time difference between the time of the incident and the time of the report. And there were lots of things I was going to do with that, but I never got around to it. But before we do anything else, I'm going to save this. So now we can look and see what we need to do. I'll just do one just to check, see whether or not we get the right answers here. And let's go look at the assignment. Let's just look at pre-incident, post-incident, actual severity, cost to hospital. In other words, we'll do that first one just to see if we get, and we'll break it down by location. So we'll go analyze, compare means, dependent list. What are we looking at? Pain. Let's see. Pre-incident pain, post-incident pain, actual severity, cost to patient, across the hospital. And we're going to break that down by location in the hospital. And let's hope this works. Okay, so now, just to see if we have things right. So 13, 20, 13, 14, 13, they match. So I'm happy. So actually, I could fill out this table, and when I submit the assignment, this table will be filled out. But you don't need to fill it out to submit the assignment. To submit the assignment, like all the assignments, all you really need to do is to enter these numbers down here. So basically what I'm doing is having you, now that you've generated this, go in here and pull the data out and just show me that one, you can do this, and two, that you can understand the tables enough to answer the questions. And if you can answer the questions, I'm happy. I figured that you could enter all the numbers in there, and it's just busy work to do that. We'll do one more since we're here. Location by type. And that would be the last one. So here we're doing type. So analyze, compare means. We're going to use the same dependent list. We're just going to go next and go type patient. So I'm going the second layer. And this is a much bigger report. But let's say emergency waiting area. Okay, here's an emergency, and in the bathroom. Emergency in the waiting area, 8. Or excuse me, 9. Looking at that. I get a 9 here. I'm happy. My ends match. So I'm pretty sure I did this right. So it's just a matter of after I've done this, going in and looking at these tables and understanding what I have with these tables, and finding the right data to answer the questions on this. Questions. Mean of additional costs to the hospital for location hallway. After you get the data file created, and then you're going to need the same data later